There are shows with psychics.
And there are shows with doctors.
But there's no show like The Psychic and the Doc.
Your practical paranormal power unleashed.
This show synthesizes the talents of world-class medium Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, psychic explorer,
and street smart spiritualist, behavioral psychologist, Dr. Pat Baccili. All subjects are on the table and no topic is taboo. Inspiration, insight,
action, and fun as Mark Anthony connects callers with loved ones in spirit.
In tandem with Dr. Pat's fresh, no-nonsense, street smart, intuitive insights. And she is hilarious.
Extraordinary problems
require extraordinary solutions, which may come from this side
or the other side. This is The Psychic
and the Doc, and it starts now.
Oh, my. Welcome, everybody. We got a great show, but I want to say out of the gate for all of you tuning us in and turning us on, please, this is a live call-in show. And one of the things we love about being this being a live call-in show is all of you. And so Mark and I are going to open it up here in a hot second, but please know, live call-in 1-800-930-2819. And Mark, it's so great to have you here. Let's talk about why this particular show is so important when we're talking about the heart and what we feel.
Yeah, absolutely. The title of the show is, Lonely Heart. And yesterday was Valentine's Day. That's the day we celebrate love, and love brings meaning and purpose to life. But love is a very complex, I think it's the most complex emotion because it affects us in so many different ways. And having a broken heart, being a lonely heart, whether it's that, a relationship ended or someone you love died and you have that lonely heart. And there's also times, and Dr. Pat and I have talked about this a lot, when you can feel so incredibly lonely when you're in a bad relationship. You can never feel more alone than when you're in a bad relationship. And there's a big difference between being alone and being lonely. Yeah. Being alone is not necessarily a bad thing, if your mindset is positive. So that's why we're encouraging people. This is a call-in show, 1-800-930-2819, because sometimes that lonely heart, that broken heart, is with somebody who has passed on to the other side. And that's why I'm here, and Dr. Pat's here. I'll facilitate a connection with your loved one in spirit. And what I love about working with Dr. Pat is she understands the process so well. She helps the caller. She will help you understand what some of the messages mean. People oftentimes, Dr. Pat, don't they seem to think that spirit communication's like Alexa? You know what I mean? Like we just ask and we're going to get this answer. But a lot of times, most of the time, the messages may be metaphors or symbols. Yeah. And I've seen, especially in the past, like 6 shows, Dr. Pat says, well, why don't you think about it like this? What does this mean to you? And all of a sudden the person goes, oh my God, now it makes sense. And in coping with a lonely heart, oftentimes requires that type of Dr. Pat insight.
Oh, thank you. And the reason that's why we do this, because you get the best of both worlds. Oh, you get the best of both outer worlds. However you want to think about it, you get the best of everything. Because, look, if we take a look at our own spiritual journey and our own journey period, and I'm telling you, I am getting a dose of this in my face this week. And what I love about it, and excuse my directness, I mean, this is me growing up in the Bronx. When I say I get a dose of it, many of you have conversations with spirit like, hi, Mary, let me give you no. See, some of us are like, what the bleep are you doing, Pat? Yeah. So some of us get communication in different ways. What you notice with Mark is that he is such a pure conduit. I have to tell you, Mark, I have shared more about the last show we did than I think any other show. Now, why? Was it our best show? I don't know, but here's why. When you talk about presenting evidence, okay, we'll explain this throughout the show today. Sure. You don't have to do it. But when you talk about that, And you say, wait a minute. This is now, I'm just mimicking you. So please, I'm going to apologize.
Okay.
It's like, I'm not a great impersonator. Okay. So when you say, now, wait a minute. Now, what is this? What is going on with the apple? Spirit, your father is telling, but I see an apple. What is going on with the apple? What's up with you and apples? Okay. You can't plan what comes next from the caller. And the caller says, you didn't hear the caller, but we heard her. It was almost like she said, what the you know what? And I don't think she did, but I think it sounded like that. And she says, you got to be kidding me. Every night I get an apple out of the refrigerator. So I'm thinking, where are we going? And she says, I take that apple and I bring it up to my bedroom and I put it on my night table because I like it at room temperature. So I'm like, I do too. She said, Mark, I've got an apple sitting here next to me. You see, this is what I love about this. Now, I had nothing to say to her because I was in such awe. But in the end, when you can connect heart to heart, whether they're in spirit or not, that's what gets me fired up. And right now, many of you may be thinking my to-do list is way too long. Whatever you're thinking, the best quote I've ever heard about being lonely comes from a TV show that's out right now. And it's a Netflix series. And it's called something like The Amazing Attorney Woo from South Korea, who's autistic. And I can't tell everybody about it, but I'm going to give you the punchline. It gets close to the end of the first season. And yes, it is going to be renewed. It gets close to the end. And this autistic attorney likes this young man, and he likes her, but she breaks up with him. And she asks him a very pertinent question. Many of you, if you need to read about autism, read it. But this is a question where you see her cry. And she explains to him, I'm afraid in a relationship, I will make you lonely. And then she asks him, and you never hear him answer, have I made you lonely? Now, why am I talking about that? Because her projection of this is not just because she's autistic, but in the world we live in, we can make ourselves invisible to our loved ones, and they will feel lonely.
Yes.
And today's show is, I want to break out in that song. I think, I want to break out in that song, Lonely Heart. But today's show is to help all of you have a great connection with Mark, connect to loved ones, and hopefully your hearts will be filled, right, Mark?
Yes, and that's what we're here to do. This is our healing work, and in many ways, this is our ministry. Dr. Pat has the Dr. Pat Show, and I encourage everybody to tune in. It's midday. That's at is that 10 a.m. Pacific?
We're mixing it up. We're going at 7 now. We go at 10. Just go to the archives. Lots to listen to. Yeah, we're just bombarding the airwaves right now.
Well, that's how Dr. Pat and I met. I was a guest on the Dr. Pat Show, gosh, I don't know, a million years ago. And it's when I was still practicing law at the time, and I was, for people who don't know about me, I've been a medium my whole life, but there was a point, and you can read about it in my books, The Afterlife Frequency and Evidence of Eternity and Never Letting Go, about how my life evolved into going full-time into mediumship. And I remember the Dr. Pat Show was like the first big radio show that I was on. And she said, all right, let's take calls from listeners. And I was doing readings, and she was helping people understand, and that really worked. And then I was in Seattle, and I was in the studio with Dr. Pat. And I remember one caller called, and her loved one came through. But then we realized that this person was on the verge of suicide. And Dr. Pat and I literally talked this woman off the ledge. And Dr. Pat, you encouraged her to get into counseling. And I think you had her call back to check in with you.
She did call back.
Yeah, she did. And so after that, it was Dr. Pat, Rocky, and I were sitting there having a cup of coffee. And it was like, we need to do something with this.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. And we knew that each of us has our own individual path, but together that we are meant to be in the world to help all of you. And it is because of you that we're here. We're going to take a very short break. And I'm telling you, when we come back, we're going to go right to the phones. We're going to make sure we connect with all of you. For those of you that are wondering, yes, 1-800-930-2819. And yeah, how many Lonely Heart songs have you listened to? How many are you ready to give up? Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Oh my goodness. Welcome back to the Psychic and the Doc. I'm Dr. Pat. For more information about me, go to the Dr. Pat Show. Mark, what is the best way to get a hold of you? And then we're going to go chat with Susie.
Please go to afterlifefrequency.com. And there's only one ticket left for my Light Circle event this Saturday, limited to 6 people. Everybody gets a reading, and I get to spend time with everyone. So please go to my website, afterlifefrequency.com. Also, you can sign up for the Conscious Grief series. It's a free event. Yeah, and I'll be one of the speakers. So sign up for that. And then next week, I'll be in Houston at Body, Mind, and Soul. I'll be doing spirit communication events, and I'll be on the CBS KHOU morning show, Great Day Houston, with the amazing Deborah Duncan.
Nice.
Please go to afterlifefrequency.com. All right, Dr. Pat, what do you say we go to the phones?
It's all Sierra right now.
All right, Sierra.
Up first, we have Susie from California. Susie, you are live.
Hello.
Hi, Susie. Hey, how can we help you today?
Just whoever wants to step forward and help me out. A little depressed.
Okay. I want you to stay close to your phone. I'm going to turn you over to Mark right now. Thank you for the courage to call in. I want to thank you for the courage to call in. We do not talk enough about the degree by which depression is hitting us right now. And as women, we certainly do not talk about it enough. So let me just hand you right over to Mark. Let's see what we can do.
Before we open up for reading, yeah, let's talk a little bit. Why do you feel you're depressed, Susie?
Just very lonely. I'm older, and so many of my loved ones are gone now. I just have no one to talk to.
Well, that's why we're here. That's why you have Dr. Pat and you have me. Yeah. We're here to talk to you. Yeah. Let's see if we can get one of your loved ones to step forward. I'm getting a gentleman coming through. Now, he could be on your generational level or the one just above it. And this guy, it's cool. He was always styling with his hair. Like, he didn't have real long hair, but this guy was always really well groomed. I can see like a part on the side. He had his hair like come to one side, kind of a very, very kind of traditional, kind of very business type of haircut. And what I get about him is he liked to sing. He liked to sing these little ditties, these little songs. And the two of you were definitely very close. Because he keeps handing you flowers. Now, here's what's funny about the flowers. Do you know those little, it's like a plastic thing, and it kind of like pops up and down. It's, God, I forget what they call those. It's like this really, it's kind of corny, but it's really kind of cool too. And he keeps talking about those things in your life. He said, you're not having those anymore. And with his passing, I'm getting this massive pain in my head. Now, what that could mean, Susie, the pain could be high blood pressure, that could be a stroke, but I'm getting this massive pressure buildup in his head. And I get the sense from him that he knew something was wrong and there were warning signs that it was coming on. And then it happened, and it wasn't an immediate passing. He may have lingered for a while, but then he eventually had to let go because he gave out. Do you recognize this man?
Kind of sounds like my father.
Your father? Well, you see, his little girl is distraught and lonely, and Daddy's coming through. Okay, and now when I get certain images, like he's handing you a teddy bear. Now, I realize lots of kids have teddy bears, but this could mean something about the image of a bear, a teddy bear. It could also mean a name like Ted or Ed, a name like a Ed, Ted, Ed, something like that. If I say teddy bear, what immediately comes to mind for you?
I'm not sure.
What does that mean to you?
He's
Well, yeah, what does a teddy bear mean to you? Don't worry about how it applies to your dad. What does it mean to you?
comfort.
Comfort. There's comfort, security, warmth. Okay.
Yeah.
And he keeps
Yeah.
talking about your blue blanket. What's up with the blue blanket?
I have blue comforters.
That'll work. Blue blanket comforter. Okay. And he's also telling you you've been getting some dark thoughts lately. And he's not here to criticize you or judge you or pick at you, but you've been getting some dark thoughts. And he said, no, no. He said, you have to push through this. He said, you have to push through this because he said, you've always been there for everyone. And he said he understands this sense of abandonment. He says, but we have not abandoned you. We are around you. Is there any organization with children in it that you're affiliated with? Could be a church or a public organization. He talks about
No.
you being hold on, you being affiliated with some type of organization with children. So this may be something he may be directing you towards. Is there anything that you can think of?
No, I mostly just stay home. I'm disabled.
Okay,
I
okay.
would love to be around children, but
Well, there
I
could be
don't know
some
what that would be.
well, that could be some type of online group too. Dr. Pat, it
Yeah,
looks like,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
You got plenty of good messages here, Susie. Here's what I want to say to you. Um, there's not anything I'm going to be able to say to really help you because in a quick fix, but I'm going to give you some things that will help you. And here's what I mean. We our hearts go out to you. Both of us understand when you reach the point that you reach, it seems hopeless. But here's what I've got to say to you. In the disability community, I don't know where you live, but most of the major cities or the major places, they have communities. These are people that will support you. Have you tried to reach out to any of them?
No.
And what would it take for
No.
you to do that?
I don't think I could do that.
Because
I cry all the time. I don't want to bring other people
they know
down.
you cry. No, come on. They know you cry. People that are I was part of a group like that because I had a little bit of my own disability struggles here a bunch of years ago. They know you. They know you're going to cry. They know that you are going through things they've gone through, but you're not going to get solved by yourself. There are support groups. There are things the government will do to help you, but you got to make the call.
Okay.
You got to make the call. I don't care if you pick up the phone and call a hotline. You need to reach out because
Yeah, it's not good.
crying. No, but here, crying and sadness is nothing to be ashamed of.
No, not at all.
No.
Tears are healthy.
And we're telling you, don't think for 1 minute that the people you're going to call haven't been down this road.
Okay.
This is the kind of thing we can't stress enough. Cannot stress this enough for you to find the strength to pick up the phone. Now, let me ask you one other question. Are you close to any family? Do you have anybody in your circle where you are?
No.
Mm-hmm. So this is you
No.
taking a step to take care of yourself tomorrow.
Okay.
Do you have access to the online community, the digital world? Do you have access to that?
Yeah.
You have a
Yes.
computer?
Yes.
You have a smartphone or some kind of phone? Okay.
Yeah.
So you have all the tools at your fingertips. They're at your
Okay, that's
fingertips
true.
right now. Okay.
Okay.
So let your
Okay.
fingers do the walking. That's a new telephone phrase.
There
I
you
worked in the
go.
phone company 25 years. But you have to do this, Susie. You have to reach out,
Yeah.
okay? Okay.
Thank you.
I didn't say this was easy. I said it's
Yeah.
necessary. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
I
And
Susie.
appreciate it,
and
guys.
Susie,
Thank you.
the fact that
Yeah.
you have called us means that you want to reach out to people. So listen to what Dr. Pat said. She knows her stuff,
I am.
and you call back and check in with us.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Susie,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you so
Let's
much.
take a short break. Yeah, you bet. Look, we're here. Let's take a short break, Mark. When we come back, we'll go right to the phones. Do we break out in song right now? Hey, everybody. Want to go The Lonely Hearts. Oh my God. See, you're like, I never heard that song. Welcome back to everybody.
Well, let me tell you, every generation has lonely heart
Oh my
songs.
God. They're
Well,
like, but not that one. Okay. I'm going to give you a Lonely Heart song. Sierra, you have got to know this song. And then we'll go to Tori. The people ask me what the hardest song for me personally is to listen to, and I have one that I go to. Now there was a second one that I used to sing all the time because that's how I thought about my life. But there's this one song, and I can't listen to this song, and I love it without getting teared up. Do you happen to do you know want to guess what it is? It's from the 90s, very early 90s.
oh gosh.
Now, Sierra, you can't be telling me you don't know this one now. Okay, do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Okay. Written by Prince for Sinead O'Connor. Nothing compares to you.
Yeah.
And flashing back now and hearing these people cover that song and not acknowledge her journey, shame on you people, like all you people covering that song now. But that song, I mean, how do you not? And then you watch the video and the tears coming down her eyes, and you're like, oh.
You know, the song that does it for me, and it's for a lot of reasons, is Photograph by Ringo Starr.
Another one.
Because the line is, all I have is a photograph, and now I know that you're never coming back.
Yeah.
And I remember he played that because he co-wrote it with George Harrison, his fellow Beatle. And a year after George died, there was the concert for George. And Ringo came out and he said, I wrote this song with George. He said, and now it really has a very powerful meaning for me. And I remember seeing that. And every time I hear it, especially, you know, after my mother died, I remember looking at pictures of her and that song just kept running in my head. Of course, I do know that those are pictures and that our loved ones, their immortal, what I call the electromagnetic soul, our immortal living soul, our spirit is a coherent energy field. In other words, we live beyond physical death. What we miss, why we have a lonely heart, is we miss the physical presence of our loved ones. And that's why we're doing this special show tonight, 1-800-930-2819. Please call in. Dr. Pat and I are here to take your calls.
Sierra, let's go to the phones.
Up next, we have Tori from California. Tori, you are live.
Fantastic. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Yes. Welcome to the show. What can we do for you tonight?
Thank you. I love what you guys are doing. And the song that comes to me is The Coat of Many Colors by Dolly Parton.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That is right? Another tearjerker.
Yeah, every time I hear it.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, my mama used to sing that to me. Yeah.
I love it.
I just wanted to see if there was any spirits there for me.
Is your mom in spirit?
Yes, my mom and my dad.
Okay. Do you have a male on your generational level, like a really close friend or a brother in spirit?
I have so many
Tori,
that passed.
uh, yeah, because I'm picking up on a male energy on your level. And what I get about him, he looks like he was probably in his early to mid 20s when he died. He could have been a little bit younger, but he looks like early to mid 20s. And what I'm getting with him is this massive impact sensation. And when I get a massive impact sensation to my body, Tori, what that means is that this was an abrupt, unexpected, quick passing. I
Yes.
am tasting a lot of blood. Okay. Does this make sense to you?
It could be the spirit of my father. He died when I was 10, and he was like about 33 when he died.
Okay. Did he
And it was
die?
unexpected.
Okay. Did he die traumatically? Like,
Yes.
like in some type of
Well,
accident?
I
Okay.
think it was.
Okay. Let me work with him. Hey, did he have really great hair? Like kind of like really cool hair? He's doing this whole thing. So
Yep.
all spirits are coming with their hair tonight. Okay. He's got this really cool hair. Do you look like your dad? I get the sense there's a physical resemblance between you and him.
Yes, everyone said I did.
There we go. So we got your dad here. Oh, and for the benefit of everybody who's listening or watching, I have no idea what Tori looks like. I just hear her voice on the phone. The spirit is giving me, he's saying a similarity between the way we look. Now, he keeps giving you pumpkins, 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 like there's a whole boatload of pumpkins in front of me. Now, pumpkins can mean a couple different things. That can mean the Scorpio time frame, which is roughly October 20th through November 20th, because Halloween falls in there. But also, you got it's October, November. It's when people are making pumpkin pie and all that. It could be something right around the Halloween time frame. So this could mean a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event which is related to him or to you or someone close to either of you, Tori, within Scorpio, October 20 to November 20, give or take a day or so on either end. Anything there?
Not really. No, it could be though, because I don't remember when he actually passed
Hold on, Tori.
because I was so young.
Hold on, Tori. When I present evidence from a spirit, and in my private readings, I spend about 10, 15 minutes ahead of time going through an orientation. When an image or message comes through, don't worry so much about how it applies to the spirit. If it doesn't apply to the spirit, think globally. How does it make sense to you? So when I say the Scorpio time frame, and I know I talk fast when I'm doing like birth, death, anniversary, is there a birth, death, anniversary event that does not necessarily have to be connected to your dad, but could be connected to you or someone close to you, either in this world or the other side? Or is there anything about pumpkins, like a nickname or something you love pumpkin pie, hate pumpkin pie? Because he keeps flooding me with pumpkins.
I can't come up with anything other than it's a holiday, right? And I've never really enjoyed the holiday
And
starting this
there we
Halloween.
go. There we go. Okay.
Yes,
Because dislikes are just as important as likes. Um,
right.
Interesting. He showed me a candle, but I feel like I'm getting burned by the candle wax. Interesting. Is there something about candles, hot wax, that sparks a memory in you somehow? All right. You
Only
burn a
that
lot
the
of
one.
candles. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go, go, go.
I just remember as a child the electricity went out and we burned candles.
There you go. Okay. Now, he said, don't gamble, don't gamble, don't gamble. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean running off to a casino. That could mean taking a risky investment or giving money to somebody who's asking for it that you're probably never going to get it back. He keeps saying, don't gamble, don't gamble, don't gamble. Does that resonate with you in any way?
No, I don't gamble, and I'm been pretty consistent all my life, so I need to take a big risk.
Why do you say
For
that?
example, I've lived in the same house for 24 years. I worked at the same job for 34 years, and I haven't dated since I was in my 30s, and now I'm in my 60s. So I need
Oh,
I need to take a risk.
All right, hold on. And I'm not trying to stretch to make it fit. But once again, when I do my
Yeah.
orientation, it would help you understand don't gamble, don't gamble, don't gamble. That may mean you have not been taking a risk, you have not been gambling. But that also, I really feel he's saying that you're saying you feel that you need to take a risk. I think he's still telling
Yes.
you to be very cautious about
Careful.
this, very careful
Yeah.
about this. Okay. All right. Hold on. There's
Okay.
one more thing. And he's talking about teeth, dental issues, teeth, dental issues. What's going on with teeth and or dental issues?
I've never had a cavity or any teeth problems, and about
And
3 months ago, I had a tooth that had to be pulled.
and there you go.
And they wanted me to spend $5,000 on getting another tooth, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to gamble on that. It's not worth it.
All right. I'll leave that with you. Dr. Pat, what do you think?
This rings to me of a cluster. See, I love psychology in a lot of ways. A lot of what we do in psychology is we look at clusters of things, right?
Yeah.
And you
Yes.
just rattled off a bunch of them, which makes so much sense to me. We're not telling you to go gamble. That's not what we're saying. But there are things you have not done for yourself, right? I
Right.
don't know enough about you, but I
Yes.
would venture to say that you're out there doing things for a lot of other people. When it comes to you, you're at the bottom of the barrel.
It's been like
You're
that.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like you're like, I'm not spending enough money on my tooth. But I guarantee you, if I said
I'm
I
not going to
needed
spend
it,
exactly.
right? I mean, I could hear you, but I guarantee you, if I said,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I need money for my tooth, you'd say, how much? But this is the
Right.
time where you have to step outside of that box. And I'll tell you what I thought about when you mentioned the pumpkins. There's one particular holiday that came to mind. What's the deal with you and Thanksgiving?
It's all of the holidays have been really hard for me all my life. I do my best to go through them, but I was raised Jehovah Witness, and I questioned that, and then they sent me to an aunt
Mhm.
who was Mormon. So then I heard all that, and then all my life I've pretty much just studied spirituality and trying to
Mhm.
understand that deep, deep, deep sadness. It's like a deep sadness that it just is always there, and I acknowledge it. But over the years I've gotten better, but it is definitely something that I've had to be
Mhm.
mindful of
Yeah.
always
So
at the holidays,
part of
especially.
this, yeah. So part of the message I want to give to you, I think this is an invitation, and here's where I think the risk is. And again, I don't know enough about you. You're not my client, but I will tell you something.
Yeah,
This is the time now. And I think the risk
yeah,
or the gamble, Mark, whatever that is, it is the time for you to pick a spiritual practice that aligns with who you are. Because one of the loneliest times in my life has been when I've been so disconnected from spirit. I don't think I've ever been lonelier in my life. And
hmm,
and when I think about that now, and I think about what you just said, Mark and I have similar experiences. Mine is Catholic Southern Baptist, but for
yeah.
me, I had a mom that allowed me to be who I was and study what I want. And I'm like you, I studied many different. I'm called a spiritual hitchhiker. Just want to be clear, but I've
Yeah,
landed on
I get it.
something. Yeah, find something that's going to allow you to connect because that's going to be a key for you. That's part of the risk. The other thing I want to say to you is you deserve it. You deserve to be
Thank
able to
you.
get a tooth. Deserve a tooth. If that's
It's
the
way in the
truth.
back. Nobody will see it.
No, no, look at you.
No, no, no,
Oh
no, no,
my
no,
gosh.
no, no. Oh.
Come on.
I just looked, I did something I normally don't do. I looked up the symbolic and spiritual meaning of a pumpkin, and it
Hmm.
means you're
Yeah.
deserving of abundance and
Oh,
prosperity
wow.
and
Yep.
good fortune. So your dad is giving you pumpkins, pumpkins, pumpkins. You are deserving of
Deserving.
this abundance and prosperity. And here's the thing. Um, a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't need a tooth. I don't need a tooth." Yes, you do, especially if it's in the back. That's where you're chewing. That's where you're eating. You need a tooth. Also, the health of your teeth affects the health of your entire body. So the
Yeah.
things that come up in a reading, Tori, are not random. I don't fling out pumpkins and teeth hoping to get a hit. All right, there's a reason why
Yeah.
these things come through. And many of the messages from spirits are very metaphorical. And I'm not comparing myself for 1 nanosecond, but think how Jesus taught through parables. I think of all the parables.
Right.
And interestingly enough, so did Buddha. Buddha taught using
Right.
parables. So spiritual messages tend to be metaphorical and symbolic. So, with don't gamble, maybe what he's saying is don't gamble with your health.
Yeah, could be. Can
Yes,
I
it
just
could.
share something really good though? As
Sure.
we go along in this journey of life, that's why I reached out to you guys today, because I'm like, the spiritual path I've always been on a spiritual path, and there's many great teachers, but the one that helped me the most was Louise Hay.
Yeah.
And being able to reprogram my mind where it goes back to all those traumas, I'm worthy. I am worthy of this. I am deserving of this.
Oh,
And I'm learning how to change how I talk to myself. But I find it really interesting what you're saying, because I've been at the same job for 34 years, and it was very challenging. I work in child welfare, and
wow.
I developed the whole program. And I got so good at it, everybody just kept giving me more and more. So I was going to quit last December, and they made me a whole new position as a liaison to work with families of kids that are struggling. So I've been very blessed, and I am grateful, but that deep sadness, it seems like it never goes away.
Oh, I got to tell you, you just nailed it. Let me tell you the deal with this. Oh, so good you shared that. Those of us that have done work with children, especially that have been abused, I'm one of them. I did my time to do that, especially alcoholic and drug. Those of us that have been in that venue, I'm going to tell you, it was one of the hardest things in my life. Now I do it selectively, but now I do it differently because I'm outside of the clinical realm. So when I am engaging in a situation like that, I have the right to take an action, you see, but as a clinical psychologist, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So what I want to say to you, you just nailed it. You see, your day, first of all, congratulations. You could teach a course on career promotions with that technique right there. I love that. But here's what I want to say. The universe is already showing you a pathway, but you're not taking care of yourself well enough to do that job. That is a calling.
God, you just hit the nail on the head.
Honey, I'm ready to get the jackhammer on you in a minute. You know what I'm saying? This is a cross-busting moment. Where's that jackhammer? You know how I know it? Because I've been where you are. And I know that if it wasn't for somebody talking to me like I'm talking to you now, I don't know that I'd have made it the other side. It's so painful. But look at what I'm telling you. You have given back. You're going to go to the work, and congratulations on staying at job. Don't let anybody telling you that staying on a job 34 years is bad or wrong. I was on a job 24 and a half years, and I'd still probably be there, except I rebelled. But what I want to say to you is you've got to promise me you're going to break a pattern. Are you ready to hear it? Mark talked about it before, but I want to give it to you. You ready?
Okay.
Get out of your day. Find a spiritual community. Louise Hay, did she change all our lives? Between her and Catherine Ponder, I changed my life. But I'm telling you this, you've got to find a way to unplug, though. So find where. Can I ask you where you live? Like
in Stockton, California.
Where?
I live in Stockton, California.
Oh my goodness, Jackhammer!
Right?
Listen, Jackhammer, Tori, you live in California. There are so many communities. I don't know how close you are, Michael Beckwith. I mean, there's so many. Please, you know, my uncle, 90-something, decided to call me one day. He said, Patricia, I am leaving the Catholic Church. I said, oh, okay. I said, you're going to take down all the crosses? And my Aunt Oli jumped in. No, we're not taking them down. And I said, okay. I said, why are you leaving? And he said, we're not fit anymore. I need to go to a place that's inclusive. He was very angry
Right.
about their position on it. So you know what he did? He went to every spiritual in Fort Collins, Colorado, door to door to door. Get out of your house,
Yeah.
plug in and find your
Yeah.
people. Can you do that?
I've done
know-
that, and I actually have a group that we've developed that do sound healing and, you know, drumming circles and Reiki and reflexology. I mean, I'm the one that kind of heads that.
What year
So
was
I
that?
have
What
that,
year was
and
that you did it? Tell me the year you did that.
in 2003. So after I got done
know
with,
what year
with
this
all
is?
that religious stuff. What?
Do you know what year we're in now?
What?
Do you know what year we're in now?
2023.
Do you think maybe you
24.
should?
20 years ago.
24. Do you think maybe
Oh,
you
yeah,
could
24.
revisit that? Do you
Yeah,
think
that's
that might be something you
21
could
years
revisit?
ago.
But
You-
I
you
really
need to
appreciate you
reconnect.
guys' time.
You're amazing. You're
Yeah, but
amazing. Don't give up that job.
You,
Keep threatening to quit. Get more. Get more
you know
I
what's
wouldn't. And you know
interesting?
what, you guys? I just have to say something good because it was so hard, and I'm dealing with the worst of the worst, ones that no one else can deal with. And I know it's because of the challenges that I had as a child and all that trauma and all that sadness, but I know that I use it for good. And I know that you have to reprogram your mind, though, and allow yourself to be open to receiving. And I had a hard time receiving. When you grow up as a Jehovah Witness, you never have Christmas, birthdays, or anything like that. And you're taught that that's not what you deserve. So I'm really grateful. And I have to say, I know you need to get off, but I have a new boss now. I just got her in December, and she actually said to me what you guys just told me, because I had to train her. And she said to me, Tori, you deserve so much more. And see, I never knew that as I was going along. I was just working hard.
Oh, okay. In the caller before you, remember I kept getting working with children,
Yeah.
working with children,
Yeah.
and it didn't
Yeah,
resonate
yeah.
with that caller. That's because that was your dad's spirit was coming in, because they come in a group. And now when I'm listening to you, the pumpkins about the abundance, deserving
Yeah.
of prosperity, now this is all starting to gel. And
Yeah.
so what you're telling us, or what I'm hearing, Tori, is that, see, the spiritual journey is not an easy one. You went through the Jehovah's Witnesses, and then you went through a lot of religious stuff, and you know, there's some people who enjoy that and some people who don't. But the spiritual journey is not easy. If being spiritual were easy, everyone would be spiritual. I used to have this personal trainer that was a forced recon Marine. This guy had no sense of humor. And I was sitting there struggling, and he's looking at me, and he would always like, you're pathetic, you know, which would make me want to work more. And I said, man, this is so hard. He goes, well, if being fit were easy, everyone would be fit.
Do it.
Look at
Right?
Mark is right. So can I ask you to make a commitment to yourself, but you don't have to tell us because we're not the police here. But I want you to
Yeah.
spend some time with yourself after this show. And I want you to write down 3 things you're willing to change that will help you
Okay.
to that sense of freedom. And that might be plugging back into those communities. Come on, look at you can teach this stuff. You see, outside of caring for people every day and carrying the burden of those children, carrying that gets in your cells. So you have to do something to activate those cells to renew a sense of freedom.
God, you're so
You see,
right.
you're on a calling. You're like me and Mark. We can't not
what they
do
say.
this. I tried walking away from this and I got sick. So please do this.
I did too.
After you're done listening, write down 3 things and then tomorrow pick 1 to do.
I would do that. You got
Okay.
my word. Thank
you.
you guys. Thank you so much.
You rock. Thank
All
you.
right.
I love doing this show.
Thank you.
It is because of you that Mark and I do the show. People like you, we love it.
Yeah.
Now look, I got a surprise for you, Mark.
Okay.
And for the listeners, Sierra's got it. I got to interview some of the most, this is my 20th year.
Yeah.
And in 2010, this woman was on my list to interview. Everybody told me, Mark, you're never going to get these people. You ain't going to get Olivia Newton-John. Forget Shirley MacLaine. And they're all like, who are you? Crust busting? Nobody even gets it. I got to interview Juice Newton.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm going to ask Sierra to pull that show so we can replay it. But I interviewed her because there was a song that she and Otha Young did together. And he had just passed away. 30 years, these two were together writing songs.
Wow.
And this song by Juice Newton, when you are in love with someone, when you are in love, if you hear this song, you cannot help to stop. Let me play. Sierra is going to play a few clips and then we'll come back. But I wonder if you could even guess. Write it down, Mark. Don't cheat. Right? This is psychic. I'm telling you. Sierra, can you just open that song up for us? And you
welcome to the Dr. Pat Show with Dr. Pat Baccili. In the next hour, Dr. Pat showcases some of the world's most influential people in the fields of health, wellness, and human potential. Get ready to live life full out. Here's your host, Dr. Pat Baccili.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. What an incredible show we have for you today. It's amazing. Get
oh my
to
God,
talk
that was
about
me in
dreams,
2010.
what it means to have a dream, what it means to fulfill a dream.
It's not wanting to play. I'll tell you what it is. It's the song, look it up. It's Juice Newton, The Sweetest Thing. And when we come back next time on the next show, I'll make sure we pull that and the clip of the interview with her. He had just passed away. And she and his wife and daughter traveled. You see, Juice Newton was called to play songs that break your heart. You're called to do what you do. I'm called to do what I do. And we are in service of so many. Mark, what's your closing message? What do you want to leave us with? And thank you for joining me here, my friend.
Everyone suffers at some point in their life from a lonely heart, a broken heart. And take heart, take courage that you can get through this. And that's why Dr. Pat and I are here. Reach out to us. And if you don't reach out to us, reach out to family, to friends, to a faith community, to, like Dr. Pat said, there's government organizations. Do not go through grief, depression, and a lonely heart alone. That's my message, because there are caring people and trained professionals who are there to help you. You are never alone. That's my message.
Mark, I want to thank you so much. We've got a bunch of announcements coming up that we'll make with all of you. We certainly do. I will. Can I give everybody a little sneak peek? And I know, Mark, you're going to help us with this. We're launching a bunch of new channels. And instead of us naming them, one in particular, we're going to ask all of you to name. We're going to collect your suggestions, and the winner will win something very special. But that's the way you roll in this world. When the ego thinks that it runs the show, the ghost of Carl Jung steps in and says, dream on. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Dr. Pat.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you, Sierra. And we'll see y'all next time.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.